All right, for this lesson, you are going to be reading about the Great Barrier Reef. So once you are done watching this video, make sure you go watch the second video, which will give you some more background information to help you understand the text better. Reminder, if you want to listen to the story, here's a link to the book that has a nicer voice than the text-to-speech in Cami. For this activity, you are doing two different things. You are writing questions before, during, and after you read, and you're also going to write the main idea of paragraph 9. So let me show you what that looks like on the document, and then I'll talk about the topics. So here's the directions in case you forget. Write a question before you read, while you are reading, after you finish, and you're also looking for the main idea of the last paragraph. So based on that first video you watched, the title, some of the pictures, what's a question you have before you start reading? That's what you will type in that box. You will read. If you want to write more things in the margins, you can. But stop once you're sort of in the middle somewhere. It can be after this paragraph or after this one, somewhere around there. Write a question now that you're in the middle. What's a question that you have? And then once you are done reading, here's a box for you to put the question you have at the end. And don't just say, I don't know. Think, what do you want to know? I don't know everything about the Great Barrier Reef, so I can't imagine that you do. Maybe you've been to the zoo and seen it, and it triggers a question related to that. Maybe it's about the plants or the animals or how people are trying to protect it. There's all sorts of things you can ask questions about. And then here is paragraph 9. Notice it has this little 9. And here's where you can write your main idea of that. Remember, main ideas are not just the reef. It's a sentence. What is the author trying to tell us about that? So write it there. You can underline details as you go, because here's some tips for asking questions. Here's why we might do it. Set a purpose for my reading. Sorry, there we go. To make inferences about what I will read, to activate prior knowledge. So essentially, we're just trying to get our brains going. We need our brains working to connect to things, to understand what we're reading. We can't just read the words. We need to think about it, and asking questions is one way we can do that. Why we might ask questions during our reading, to clarify our understanding. So what does this mean? Why did they say this? What does this have to do with this other topic I know about? And then, like I said, to think more deeply about the topic. And similarly to after is similar to this. We're trying to clarify our understanding, to think more deeply about it, to make connections. Because my guess is you've seen a movie that has to do with the oceans and reefs. Think Finding Nemo, Finding Dory. You've read books, you've heard about it, you watched the second video. So how can you make connections to these other things between that and what you read? That's another reason why we can ask questions. How does this connect to Finding Nemo? In Finding Nemo, when it talked about the Nemo and his dad living on the reef in the anemone, how would that be affected by climate change? Things like that. All right, so now if we're thinking about evaluating key details to determine central ideas, so remember to look at the title, the headings, the graphic features. That can help you understand the main idea. If you underline details, focus on repeated words, that can then help you write the main idea. And make sure you ask yourself, what is this text, or in this case, this paragraph, mostly about? And after you write it, then think, okay, does this really say what it's mostly about? And remember, you're not just saying climate change or the Great Barrier Reef. What is the author actually trying to tell us about that? The Great Barrier Reef is great. Scientists are trying to help the Great Barrier Reef. People need to work hard to protect it. Those could all be examples of possible main ideas. Now you'll have to make sure to go read the whole text And then this paragraph, especially carefully to figure out what the main idea of this paragraph is. What is the author trying to tell us in this paragraph? Make sure you do all the parts to this assignment. Watch this second video before you go do it, and enjoy learning about it. It's a really fascinating part of our world. Good luck.